All right, Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Harakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the elect out here pushing this word with faith, hope, and sincerity. So this lesson is basically going to cover the war that occurs here in Babylon of spiritual men. And those spiritual men are the hopeful elect of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And what Esau, the so-called white man, does is he promotes gratifying the flesh. And the way in which he promotes that is through his foods, through his philosophies, through his wine, that sorcery, that witchcraft that's used all throughout the globe, whether it be idols, whether it be any of the tools in which he so chooses, whether it be women, whether it be your children, okay? All of these things he uses to have you satisfy the flesh. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a healthy appetite and eating clean foods, because clean foods are lawful, are given to us for such. However, what Esau, the so-called white man, does not want our people to do is to live by the Spirit. See, because living by the Spirit is living by the highest regulation that Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai has given us, okay? That is the standard, okay, of supreme excellency in all areas and facets of your life. You're not doing what the flesh says. You're doing what Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai says over anything that you want to do. And that's really a way in which Esau uses to control our people is by the flesh, which is the reason why we're preparing ourselves for the hour of temptation to live by the Spirit, to make decisions by the Spirit. And so that's really what this lesson is going to be geared towards, is just having, Akim remember and realize that we are in a spiritual warfare, and that also is a spiritual warfare between the flesh and the Spirit. And if we obey the Spirit, we will reap the things of the Spirit. But if we obey the flesh, we will receive the things of the flesh. And the flesh leads to death, and the Spirit leads to life. So I'm going to start here at Galatians chapter 5, verse 16. It says, "This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." Okay? And this is what Esau, the so-called white man, does not want our people to do. Be in order, in connection with Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Because then we're obeying him, and we're not obeying Esau. "For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would." So the things that Esau portrays for us to do are to satisfy the lust of the flesh, to retaliate, when somebody does something to you that you don't agree with, just like in the movie Do the Right Thing, dude stepped on his shoes, and, Jake, wanted to knock his block off immediately, because those are the philosophies that Esau pushes. But the philosophies of the Spirit are temperance, meekness, understanding the situation before overreacting, So Esau satisfies the lust of the flesh by giving you emotion, giving you drama, right? All those things satisfy the lust of the flesh. Whereas when you are living by the Spirit, you now are doing the things in which Yahweh Shai wants us to do, to be, to know how to be abased and know how to abound, meaning situations are not going to befall you pleasantly, especially if you know this truth and you're in this truth. There's going to be situations where the Lord is just clearly testing you, but he's testing your spirit, okay, through denying the flesh, okay? I'm going to read that again, Galatians 5:17. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh, And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things ye would. Why? Because we have a shepherd. Okay, so our shepherd tells us what to do. Okay, we don't have the foresight, to know where we're going. That's why we're following the Lamb, to where we're not satisfying the things of the flesh. Verse 18, but if you be led of the Spirit, you're not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, rivalries or revelries, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. And notice there's like a laundry list of these actions. Why? Because they all satisfy the lust of the flesh. Verse 22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering. Okay, meaning you're gonna lose. Okay, we're losing right now. Okay, but what does it bring, that long suffering? What is the reward of long suffering? Patience. Okay, it says gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there's no law. And they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. Verse 25, if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Okay. And I want to get that word here, walk, because what you'll see here is to walk is to actually live. Okay. Actually, this is a different word for walk. Yeah. So let me grab this next verse. Let me see if it's the same one as 16, because I looked it up here a second ago. Yeah, this is the one I wanted.
Strong's G 4043. Peripateo. Peripateo.
And notice it had a capital walk in verse 16 versus in, I believe, verse 25 or 26. It had a lowercase w. So just something to note. It says to walk, to make one's way, progress, to make due use of opportunities. So every scenario that comes up, every challenge that Yahweh Shem Yahushua places before us is a decision. Okay. And what we're doing is building up enough equity of spiritual decisions to where in the hour of temptation, that decision is already made. There's no questioning of whether or not we're going to take the mark of the beast, or whether or not if Esau puts our children on the guillotine that we lose our faith, because we've been walking in the Spirit. So it says to make due use of opportunities. This is all a trial run. This is a practice run leading up to that moment of decision. Part B, it says Hebrew for to live. So when you're walking, you are living, you're progressing in that fashion. To regulate one's life, to conduct oneself, to pass one's life. Okay. And it says to tread all around, i.e. walk at large, especially as proof of ability. All right. This is what I wanted to see here. It says go be occupied with. Okay, so we're occupied in the Spirit to where we're not concerned about the flesh. It's like, bro, we don't have any space for fulfilling the flesh. Okay, our space and our time and our capacity and the opportunities that the Lord is presenting us with all evolve around walking in the Spirit. Okay, so let's bring out a couple more here and then we'll wrap up. This is John 6 and 63. It says, it is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Okay? Meaning this is how we are actually conducting ourselves. We're not using Esau's regulations of law and order and all of his contrived penal codes, everything that he's contrived. We're living by the code of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which is specifically customized for Israelites only. Okay? These words are how we have spirit. These words are how we have life. Okay? So don't ever think that Esau, the so-called white man, can give you anything that will compare to what the spirit of these words are and how it is profitable for our life. It gives us wisdom. It gives us awareness. It gives us the perception to see things before they happen. Okay? This is Romans, one of my favorite chapters, Romans chapter 8. And I'm going to start at verse 1. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahushai, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. Jump down here to verse 4. That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. Verse 6, for to be carnally minded is death. I had mentioned that earlier. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Why? Because we have a true connection with Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Our source provides life and peace. Okay? To be able to maneuver in this world of wickedness. Let's jump down here to verse 9. Cold cut. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so, be that the spirit of Yahweh dwell in you. Meaning that if the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai isn't dwelling in you, well then you're not walking in the spirit. You're walking in the flesh. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his. Okay? And these people don't have the spirit of Hamashiach. They have the spirit of Caesar Borgia. They have the spirit of Babylon. They have the spirit of all these idols and witchcraft and sorcery and, all of those things that satisfy the lust of the flesh. They have that. We walk after the spirit of Yahweh Yahushua Waha Rakah Kodash, the Holy Spirit, or the spirit that is holy. Let's read verse 13. It says, for if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. Point blank and period. Okay. Ultimately, people that you see that have cancer and diabetes and, all of these ailments of the flesh and the body and a corrupt mind, it's because they continually sold unto the flesh. They never sold unto the spirit. The spirit was dry, like those dry bones spoken of in Ezekiel. Okay. They didn't have any flesh. They couldn't live. Okay. Verse 13 again says, for if ye lived after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. Okay? So when you mortify the deeds of the body, you completely cut it off. It's dead to you now. Those things cannot be tempted to you. Okay? If you walk up to a woman and ask her if she has a boyfriend and she says yes, then you leave it at that point. You continue on and go holler at another chick, okay? Why? Because going forward would be doing what? Satisfying the lust of the flesh through adultery, okay? See, these are the simple things that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is elevating us through the spirit to walk in, okay? A righteous, holy order, all right? I got a couple more here real quick. This is Galatians, back in Galatians 3:1, one of my favorite chapters as well. It says, O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yahushua HaMashiach hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you. This only would I learn of you. Received ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? O ye so foolish, having begun in the Spirit, are ye now made perfect by the flesh? And the answer is no. Okay? So this is just to keep our eye single on the Spirit, because the Spirit is life. The Spirit is what quickeneth. The Spirit is what maketh alive. Okay? The flesh profiteth nothing. aside from death. Okay? Last verse, and we're going to wrap up. This is Galatians 6 and 8, and this should bring it all home. This is Galatians 6 and 8. It says, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. And what does corruption lead to? Death. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. That's what we're doing. We're sowing to the Spirit. We're sowing to life everlasting. Okay? And we're mortifying our members to where the flesh doesn't creep back in. Let's read verse 9. It says, and let us not be weary in well-doing, because what is that well-doing? Walking in the Spirit. For in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So, hey, through the Spirit, Lord willing, you brothers were edified. Once again, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace and salutation to the elect Akim out here doing this fight, pushing this word with faith, hope, and sincerity. Walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Shalom.